Hey everybody, this is Kelly with the Garden Whisperer. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, I design flower beds and garden beds for homeowners where they can either install it themselves or they can hire a landscaper of their choosing to install it for them according to the design plan. So today's video is going to be how to make a trellis, a garden trellis, out of an indoor room divider. I know it sounds funky and weird, but if you want something different and unique, this is what I found, and absolutely happy with the choice that I made. So before I get into the video, I just want to say, for some reason, my viewers cannot see the text that I put on the video. I'm following all the instructions they say to do, and it's still not showing for some reason. But I did find a workaround. If you click on the closed caption button on the video, when you hit play and then you hit your down button on your remote, it'll pop up on the right and you'll see a CC and the like and dislike buttons. Just click on the CC and you should be able to view any text that I have in the video. The text would be things like plant names or product names or my website, things like that. So okay, so I'm just going to get right into it. So this is the trellis that I bought online, or not a trellis, it's an indoor room divider that I bought online. Let me explain why. I was searching for trellises online. I didn't like anything that I saw. Everything was just plain and boring and same old, same old. So I was thinking, what could I do to, or what could I make, or what could I use to make a garden trellis? So I came across indoor room dividers, and I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. So this is I believe it's iron, it's metal, 5-panel indoor room divider. I loved it because it's very vintagey and kind of weathered looking, and it's just going to get even more weathered as time goes on. So I actually have another room divider that I made into a trellis. It's in the other side of my house where my other garden is, and that one's wood. I separated those panels, but these panels I kept together. This thing's pretty heavy. It's like 100 pounds. And so it's pretty tough for me to get it in, but I managed to do it. So I'm just going to get right into it. So basically, let me show you, just get up really close so you can see a little bit of the detail of the divider. So it has some scroll work. It's just pretty cool. I think, if I remember correctly, I bought this on overstock.com. Yeah, I think that's where I got it. I bought it last year, so I don't quite remember, but for some reason I'm thinking it was Overstock. So you can see all the little extra work. And then when we get here, I have this little rose that I just planted, and it's a vining rose, so the goal is for it to grow up and then over the trellis. And then if I have to buy more, I'll buy more. So we'll see. So anyway, how do we go about making this? So I went to the hardware store, the local hardware store, and I bought these metal, they're not per se stakes, but they're just these long metal pieces. They're about 3 to 4 feet tall, maybe an inch wide, if that's an inch wide. And what I did was I bought 4 of them. So I have, I just spread them out through the trellis so that they would hold everything sufficiently. And then what I did was I took what's called, this stuff, it's called JB Quick Weld. It was upside down again, sorry. Upside down. JB Weld Quick Weld, and it is a steel reinforced epoxy. It has a tensile strength of 3127 psi. Set time is 6 minutes, and it cures in 4 to 6 hours. Now, the yellow tube is white, and the black tube is black. You mix them together, it makes a gray epoxy, a light gray epoxy. And then what you do is you take the stakes, and you sand the side of the stake that's going to adhere to the trellis. You also sand with sandpaper the trellis part that's going to stick to the stake. And you just basically sand them down, rough them up a bit, and then put the epoxy on. You can use a spatula of some sort, like a putty spatula, or even, the tongue depressors that doctors use. You could use that, because then you could just throw them away afterwards. But you just put it all over it, stick them together, and just let them sit for 5-6 hours, and then eventually it hardens, and it is very strong. So I did 4 of them across the panel. And then what I did was dig down 2 feet down in the ground. And once I did that, then I was able to stick the trellis in 2 feet down. I just left a little gapping area underneath here, just to prevent it from getting, like rot from the wet ground or anything like that. And I tamped the soil around the stakes and just made sure it got compacted. And it's actually, this garden bed is on like sloping downhill. So I didn't realize that when I was doing it. So when I dug down, I dug a little too deep on this side. So when I put the trellis in, it sunk down and it wasn't level. So I had to pull it up a little bit, tamp down the soil as best as I could, and then I put these rocks under it temporarily just to hold it up until the elements helped compact it even more. I could probably take them out now. I just haven't gotten around to it. So basically that's all I did. And I'll tell you this much, and I'm going to put this JB quick stuff in the text in the video. But just to give you an idea of how strong this trellis is, we had a windstorm here about a month ago. 50, 60 mile per hour winds, trees were coming down all over the place, massive trees, and this thing did not move. It absolutely did not move. And then, if you could see over here, this pine tree fell on top of it as well in that windstorm, and it did not take the trellis down. So as long as you have them deep, and these stakes are a flat type of stake, and you compact the soil around it, it's absolutely fine. Some guys would be like, oh, you got to put concrete in it. No, you don't. And to be honest with you, I like it better this way, because then if I ever want to move it, it's just a matter of wiggling it really hard and getting it out of the soil. So yeah, that's pretty much how you make a room divider how you make a trellis out of a room divider. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, it was about 100 pounds, so I had to kind of drag it and do what I had to do. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So these stakes are not per se stakes, the typical stake that you buy. But if you go to the hardware store, I kind of wandered around and just looked for something that would have been sturdy and thick enough that it wasn't going to bend and it wasn't flimsy by any means. And I just MacGyvered it and just adjusted it for what I wanted. So you don't have to buy the typical stakes per se. And I like that these are flat because they work better on metal. So if you have flat metal, you get a flat stake. Even if you had round metal, I would still get a flat stake. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it was a little time consuming, but not too bad, because it was just made mainly digging the soil out and letting the epoxy cure and set. So that was pretty much it. But so eventually, yeah. I mean, I thought this trellis or this indoor room divider would be perfect for a cool, vintagey kind of different garden trellis. So that's it. Yeah, and hopefully that rose starts moving and it starts growing and it grows up the trellis, and then I can add more if needed, or do whatever I have to do. But yeah, it's a new garden bed that I've just been working on, so it's getting there. Just going to take some time. So anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you are interested in hiring my design services, you can reach me at www.the-garden-whisperer.com. And that's it for today's video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.